Hi, I'm Cindy Cloward with Riley Blake Designs, and today's project is a coin purse, and it's all made by hand using wool. This is the Stacy West wool collection, and the more I use it, the more I love it. It's very forgiving, it doesn't fray when you use raw edges, and let me show you what you need to make this project. Those are the supplies that you need to make this project. And you'll notice there is a long piece that folds over and you close it by a magnetic closure, just like that. And notice the profile, it's nice and curved. So let's take our long rectangular piece, the 5.5 by 4.5 inch piece, and I'm going to use a Holt circle ruler to curve that top edge, which gives you that nice profile on your piece. So let's just cut around that. And that's ready to go. So your bottom piece needs a little more structure. So this is good to go, but I've added a Peltex piece that it's fusible, you can iron it on, but really it just gives your two pieces structure. So I put it on like this, and it's ready to apply. Now you can do an easy whip stitch to stitch around your pieces, but I like to do a blanket stitch. You can use embroidery floss or a wool floss. I have a cotton embroidery floss that I'm using today. And if you're not confident in your stitches, it's okay to use matching thread because it'll be hidden. But if you like to see your stitches, it does make a nice contrast to use a pop of color in your blanket stitch. So that's what I'm going to do today. Again, I am just learning to work with wool, and it's lovely to work with. This is 100% wool. The colors are Stacy West, and it's so much fun to work with a project that you don't even need a sewing machine to complete the project. So I start with a knot. I hide my knot in between these two pieces. I have my Peltex in there as well, and I'm going to start on one edge and sew across using a blanket stitch. Now, if you're not confident in your spacing, you could do a little tiny mark along there so you get it perfectly spaced out, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And with a blanket stitch, what's nice is you just have that piece of floss that goes along there that really frames your project. Okay, I'm at the end right here. And so this is going to be the inside of your coin purse. So I put it in like that, line it up with the bottom. And now you're going to sew 4 layers. So this is how it folds over like that. You have to make sure everything is lined up. Now you're going to go down the side using the same thread and continue your blanket stitch. Okay, so I'm just coming around and ending on that one side that we started, picking up the 4 threads. I mean the 4 layers. So I finish on the 4 layers. Kind of give it extra strength, so I go over it just a couple times right there in the corner. And I kind of did it on the other side too to give it added strength. So this is my last pass through, and I'm going to hide my threads in the middle there. Okay, the next step would be to take your magnetic closure like that. That's how it goes. And on each one of these sides, there's 4 sides to sew it down, add your threads. So I generally would kind of mark in the middle. Where's the very center? Just about right there. And then I take thread. You don't use an embroidery needle this time, just a smaller needle. And I usually like to use, you could use wool thread, but if you have an all-purpose thread with polyester, it adds extra strength to it. Don't just use a cotton. Then you add your bottom, and then you've got your magnetic closure all finished. And then it would be good to go. But what's the fun in that? Add a few embellishments to make it even more sweet. I've cut out a coordinating flower, just a 5-leaf flower that matches my embroidery thread on the edges. So that gives it a little pop of color that coordinates, and then a little sweet button on the top. If you got really brave, you could use the back side before you got started and add someone's name, and that's another way to add an embellishment. So I have added my business cards to this. I could add a little money and I could just put it in my purse. But now this little coin purse is all ready to use, and it's so fun to have a handmade item.